I hit top 10 in the entire world on Marvel Rivals playing Groot. And today, I'm going to be giving you guys all the advice, tips, and tricks you need to get better at Groot. I was top 30 in the first alpha, top 10 in the beta, and right now currently I solo queue to Grandmaster 2 with a 72% win rate here on Groot. You'll see here in a second. 33 games played, 24 wins. That is about a 72% win rate. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Groot's primary attack. This is going to be a projectile that has a 20-meter range and does 70 damage. Groot's secondary attack is going to be a bomb that explodes into other seeds and deals small tick damage to enemies. The damage isn't anything crazy, but it's great for getting ult charge long range. So as you all know, everyone in the game has a quick melee, but with Groot, you actually get two different animations, right? So your first two are very normal melees. I believe they do 30 damage, but then your third one, so I do two, and then your third one is going to do a big slam where you hit with both fists and it does double damage. So you can see I did 2 little bars of health there, but then one melee is only going to do about a little bit over 1. So that's like what, 70-80% more damage. This is very important to kind of like displace enemies. You can do it really consistently if you kind of get it down. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of how to counter when you get walled by another Groot. So let's say we're fighting, and then he gets a good wall behind me. All I have to do is look down, straight down, and then just wall myself up. And now you can get out of pretty much any sticky situation that you're in. Groot's wall can actually destroy objects when placed under it. So you can destroy things like petty minefields, Moon Knight Onks, Namor turrets, and many different other things in the game as well. You have a skinnier wall, and then you have the big iron wall. We're going to focus on the skinny wall for now and come back to the iron wall later. The skinny wall has a special ability that if it is awakened, it will damage an enemy that is close enough to it that takes damage from you or your team. So let's say if I damage this guy here, I'm going to do my 70 damage for my primary, and then the wall does an additional 45 damage. It would be the same thing if one of my teammates was here and shot this guy. He would take whatever damage my teammate did, and then the 40 damage from the wall. This wall can be set up straight, it can be slightly angled, or you can just full on go flat with it and make a little roof. The skinny wall on Groot is going to be your bread and butter. It is what gets this character the most value with its 15-meter range, as aside from the 10-meter range on the iron wall. This is the wall you're going to be using to wall off enemy tanks to create space the most. A combo I like to do is when I'm attacking and I'm seeing my enemy and I'm walking forward to them, I'm just going to wall them off, and then a lot of times you'll see someone get stuck on it and then I have to turn around. I'm just going to wall them again, and they're going to get stuck on this wall again. So you kind of just use this wall to take space and be really aggressive with it. Another good thing with this wall that you can do is set it up outside of a walkway you know an enemy is going to push, and then as soon as they walk out, they're going to take damage from your left click and then both of the walls as well. You'll see a lot of high ranking players set up positions like this where the enemy just walks out into a torture chamber of walls. Groot's iron wall is a little bit more complicated to understand, as it has 700 HP and it will heal Groot when him or an ally does damage to an enemy player. So you'll see I have 850 HP right now. If I damage this guy, I go up to 890, and you see the wall kind of proccing. But one thing to note is that the wall anchors off of you, not off of the wall itself. So you see right here, this guy isn't in range of the wall. He's dealing damage, I'm not getting HP. But if I step within range, you'll start to see now I'm getting HP. So the wall anchors off of you, not off of where the wall actually is. This is the wall you're going to primarily use to wall off tanks from choke points, as it has 700 HP, as you see there on the left side, and it's going to be very hard for the enemy team to shoot down. You want to try to use the iron wall as preservatively as you can, as it has a 7-second cooldown when it is broken. This wall is not very expendable, but this one is. This is the wall you want to use to close distance, block damage, and then once you're within fighting range, that is when you want to use your iron wall to then seal off the enemy and you and your team can kill them. Another thing I like to do with walls is to fully and quickly box somebody in. See, if this is like an enemy Magneto or something, he can't walk out through here, and then maybe you'll set up another wall here, and now this guy is in a full-on torture chamber of just walls, and then your enemy team shooting him, and then his healers are going to be behind this wall and they can't really do anything about it. The last ability we need to go over is Groot's ultimate ability, which is like a suction vacuum that will pull enemies towards the center and do tick damage to them as well. So see, I throw the bomb, and then I'm also dealing damage as well. Next, I want to go over the general playstyle when you are playing Groot, as he is classified as a brawl style character, meaning he excels in maps where there is a short range and a short line of sight. You want to be in the enemy's face dealing damage as close as you can to them. He's a little bit more difficult to play on maps with long sight lines that are dominated by characters like Hawkeye and Hela, as he cannot close the gap as efficiently on those characters that can just sit out of like a 30 meter, 40 meter range of him. The general gameplay loop with this character is always going to be about the same. You want to use a small wall to close the gap, use another small wall to kind of force the enemy back maybe a little bit, and then once you get close enough to the enemy tank, that is when you're going to go ahead and use your iron wall and then your other small walls to kind of box them in and try to secure a kill. I made this quick list of characters just to show you guys what to watch out for when you are playing Groot. These are very, very dangerous. So Wolverine can just kidnap you and throw you into his team and you will just die in the matter of seconds. Star-Lord can farm ult off of you very, very easily and play outside of your range. Doctor Strange will farm ult off of you very, very easily and block your ultimate. Hawkeye, your head is just a giant hitbox. Same thing with Hela, and then same thing with Punisher. The turret is really hard to deal with. He can break down your walls super fast, and then he'll just shred you with his ultimate. There's really no character that Groot excels against besides Magneto, because if you do wall him off, he has no movement ability to escape besides his ultimate. To end off this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a few fights from the replay where I go 35-4 in a grandmaster lobby on Groot. So a big thing you'll notice in these fights is that a lot of it is just rinse and repeat. I'm poking away from the enemy, throwing my bomb, trying to get ult as fast as I can, using small wall to create some aggressive angles. You see I get a double wall on Penny here in a second. I'm going to iron wall because I'm taking a little bit too much damage, but again, I have double wall set up. That Penny has no LOS on her healers and she's going to die because of it. And now because of those two walls, the rest of this fight is basically just clean up. Again, the Magneto is close enough to me, so then I'm going to use my iron wall. But other than that, I'm using my small wall to create the space and close the gap. And then I'm using the iron wall to then wall off the Magneto and try to kill him. Again, same thing. Throwing bombs at the enemies for my ultimates. If the Magneto is close enough, I will use iron wall. But for the most part, I'm using the small wall to create the opening. So this next fight here is going to be a really big ult fight. I think these guys started out with their Luna Snow ultimate here in a second, and they're also going to use their Magneto ultimate. When that happens, I'm kind of just playing slow. Playing slow and just not dying is the most important thing you can do. Again, I'm using my small wall to block off damage. Then when I'm healthy, I'm going to go in for the combo with my Magneto. You're going to go ahead and pierce right through their Luna Snow ultimate, and then the rest of this fight is kind of just going to be clean up. The Penny Parker is going to end up dying. I'm going to wall off the enemy's main access point so they can't heal this Magneto or escape the fight. And then the rest of this fight is basically just killing staggers. After the fight is over, I'm going to tell my teammates just to come back because I could just wall off. And then we basically just get the point for free. This next fight here, we're on defense. Once again, just throwing my bombs for poke damage for my ultimate. I see this group kind of oversteps here, so I'm going to live to kill him out. Again, my wall behind him kind of broke LOS from his healer, so I know if he oversteps that he dies. My Black Panther is going to go big for 3, and the rest of this fight is basically just clean up. Rinse and repeat, exact same thing for the very next fight. Again, just throwing my right click for ult charge, setting up some aggressive walls early. If this Groot walks into it, I know it's going to take damage. Trying to block off LOS from his healers. My Magneto does a great job of eating the punish ult, and then the rest of this fight is basically just clean up. So this next fight here is going to show a great example of how important it is to just simply live. My goal here is just to live on payload and stall for my Psylocke to come back with her ultimate. You notice here I'm not setting up my walls to make an aggressive play, I'm setting them up to just live. And then when we Mantis ult, that is now when I can go aggressive with my Psylocke, clean up the enemy backline, turn around, and take out the rest of the tanks and kind of close out this game here. See, I'm going for aggressive walls on their Groot, their Punisher's 1 HP, and the rest of this fight is basically just clean up. So once again, guys, to kind of close out this video, I'm just going to walk you through the general gameplay loop one more time. Once again, you are a brawl tank when you play Groot. You're going to want to be using your small walls to kind of close gaps and create that aggressive opening. Try to make the enemy tank panic a little bit, break LOS from his supports, so you and your tank can deal that follow-up damage, and then the wall also is going to be doing that 40 damage as well. And you can try to secure kill that way. If that is unsuccessful, that is when you then walk towards the enemy again with your small wall and then you are going to use your iron wall, and that is when you want to create that kill box and collapse on that kill. Your right click should pretty much just be thrown off cooldown. It is your ult builder from long range, but if you're going to set up for an ult play, then you should be saving it for that. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video, guys. I appreciate you all if you stayed this long. If you did find this at all useful or helpful, go ahead and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I've got an unranked to GM that will be streamed live on Twitch at twitch.tv/JoshuaXD. The link will be in the description. And I've also got a 64 and 8 kill game that I had on Mantis earlier. So if you're interested, go ahead and check it out. I appreciate you for watching. Bye-bye.